It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so I wanted to talk to you guys about a fight that I believe will fly under the radar because boxing in January is, it's a little bit slow, as it tends to be around this time of year. So sometimes people may overlook the cards we do have in January. And if they overlook the main events, you damn sure know that they're going to overlook some of the undercards. So you guys know True School Sports. It's the home of boxing. I'm very big on, those undercard sleeper fights, the fights that, people may not be paying attention to that could wind up being really fun to watch. And I think this fight would definitely fall under that banner, under that umbrella. So on the undercard of Beterbiev versus Callum Smith is a really intriguing fight in the Bantamweight division. You're going to have the WBO Bantamweight title on the line. You're going to have that man right there, Saul Sanchez, challenging the WBO champion in that man right there, Australia's very own Jason Moloney. So I like this fight a lot, and I'm going to tell you guys why as far as the storylines, what both fighters are at, styles, things like that. So we'll start with Saul Sanchez, right, because I do like Saul Sanchez. I went live for one of his fights when he fought Jericho O'Quinn, and look how great that win has aged for him. Jericho O'Quinn wound up stopping Peter McGrail as the underdog, and back in, 2021, Saul Sanchez blasted Jericho O'Quinn out of there in one round, dropping him multiple times en route to a very impressive victory. But, Saul Sanchez, I think he's not one of these guys that runs his mouth and yaps a lot, but he's a fighter that I think with his resume, there's a lot of good substance because, I know the bantamweight division pretty well, and I know some of the guys he's fought on his resume. Like, for example, he beat Dan Lozano, who's a tough fighter, knocked him out in one round back in 2020. He also defeated Mario Hernandez, and Mario Hernandez is a good fighter. Mario Hernandez gives everybody a tough fight at bantamweight. Mario Hernandez even fought Lawrence B.T. Nguyen, who I class pretty highly, I think, for the NABA title, and gave him a good fight. So I would say I just fought him in 2020, outboxed him. He also beat Frank Gonzalez, another fighter here from South Florida, knocked him out in one round. Jericho O'Quinn knocked him out in one round. He's knocked a lot of good, solid guys out in one round. So Saul Sanchez is a dangerous fighter, and one thing I like about him is when he fights guys who are not on his level, he treats them as such, which I think is a good character trait of him, right? And then he wound up taking a split decision loss to Eros Correa, close fight, could have went either way. He actually wound up fighting Frank Gonzalez again in 2023 and wound up knocking him out again, this time in 6 rounds. So, was it the same Frank Gonzalez? No, I think it was different. That was a different Frank Gonzalez. It couldn't have been the same Frank Gonzalez. No, he fought Franklin Gonzalez. So no, it wasn't a rematch. Let me correct myself. It wasn't the same Frank Gonzalez. It was a Colombian Frank Gonzalez. But nonetheless, he's fighting Moloney now. Jason Moloney. Let's talk about him, right? Because I think bit of an underrated fighter, doesn't do a whole lot of talking, but he's one of those fighters that I think in this golden age of Australian boxing, he's definitely done his part to spread the good news and spread the good word about the Aussies in boxing, right? Because Australians just get overlooked in boxing for a long time, and now they definitely have their seat at the table with guys like Tim Tszyu, Jaya Pataya, Sky Nicholson, George Kambosos Jr., and the list goes on and on and on. He's flying the flag high for the Aussies, right? So look at his career. Won the world title in his last fight against the very tough Filipino Vincent Astrolabio. Beat Joshua Greer. Beat some really good fighters in his career. The only guy he's ever lost to, the only 2 guys he ever lost to was he lost a split decision to Emmanuel Rodriguez, and he lost to a guy that many people may believe is the best fighter in the world today, in Naoya Inoue. So there's no shame in that. He's also beating guys like Kohei Kono in Japan. So a lot of substance on the Jason Moloney resume. So when I look at the style match, I look at both fighters. They're both fighters that don't often make the headlines, but they're both fighters who I feel have more than done their part to have their place in the bantamweight division, right? So we'll start with the style matchup. Let's talk about it, right? Saul Sanchez, I think when he's at his best and he's really got it going, he's a fighter that, the word I would use to label him is destructive. He likes to put educated pressure on you, break you down to the body. He's got a nice left hook. he's gonna try to get Moloney to exchange and try to back him up and slowly but surely beat the fight out of him, because that's kind of who he is. That's who he's shown to be in the sport of boxing. I wouldn't say he's not like an A plus puncher, but one thing about him is if you can't take that pop and you're not durable enough to stand up to what he brings to the table, you get found out. And everyone who's ever fought him has found that out themselves, right? And it's been some good fighters that have found that out. It ain't just been like cans. So I think there's gonna be some things to deal with for Moloney, especially in the first 4 to 5 rounds. But Moloney can box. Moloney can really box. I think Moloney, at the age of 32, he's at a great age, right? Because I think in boxing, one of the best ages you can be at times, depending on the fighter, is that 30 to 32 range, because you're no longer young in the sport, but you're not old either. Like you still got physically a lot to give to the sport, and mentally you're at the highest you've ever been, right? So he's at a beautiful age and maturity in the sport, and this could be a fight where if Saul Sanchez hits Moloney with his best shot in the first 4 to 5 rounds, I can see Moloney being patient, composed, experienced enough to find the way to win the fight. So overall, it's a really intriguing fight. What I think a lot of substance, and if Saul Sanchez wins, then he becomes champion for the first time in his career, and he gets to fulfill his dream and push on for bigger and better things in the division. If Moloney wins this fight, then I think there's a lot of interesting fights out there for Jason Moloney, because one of the guys he has a loss to in this weight class is actually a champion in Emmanuel Rodriguez. And, he retired for like 2 days and then he unretired. So I know for a fact the fight that Jason Moloney is going to want immediately, straight away, no questions, no comments, no qualms. He's going to want the Emmanuel Rodriguez unification fight. And he should want that fight because, number one, it's a good fight. Number two, it's a chance to be unified champion and avenge his loss and start to establish himself as the man around this division, right? And then, we got another world title fight going on later in the month, or next month, I should say, in February, as Junta Nakatani takes on, Alexander Santiago. So if Junta Nakatani comes to that one and wins as he's expected to, it'd be a chance for Jason Moloney to maybe take on a fighter that many would consider the best Japanese fighter not named Inoue. And I don't agree with that, because I think Ken Shiro was the best Japanese fighter not named Naoya Inoue. But Junta Nakatani is doing his thing, and Moloney does have, I think, some fanfare from Japan, because when you fight Inoue, his fans will follow you. They will. It's kind of like the Canelo effect or the Roman Gonzalez effect. When you fight those kind of guys, that caliber of fighter, people will start paying attention to the opponents and what they do after they fight those guys, right? So it's the same thing with Moloney, right? It'd be a chance for him to fight one of the biggest fighters in Japan, and I think that'd be very a very intriguing fight with Top Rank, who does put on a lot of Japanese cards, and it would be somewhat of an in-house fight. So that's his pathway if he wins this fight, but it don't mean anything if he don't take care of Saul Sanchez, who is coming to win. So really looking forward to that fight. That to me is the highlight of the Beterbiev Smith undercard on January 13th. But let me know what you guys think. What do you guys make of Saul Sanchez versus Moloney? Leave a comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe, because I want to hear your thoughts. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. We're here at the Hatanaka Boxing Gym in Nagoya, Japan. And for more great videos just like this one, make sure you guys click right here.